Hey Scott, is Sammy going to be good for this weekend?
That's the plan right now. He's in a good spot. We think he's ready to go. These next 24 hours are important, but right now the plan is for him to wrestle.
We'll go Steve Falk, Azure Park Press.
You're on mute, Steve. Still muted.
Can you hear me, Scott?
Yeah, I got you now.
How nerve-wracking is it knowing that Penn State's been shut down twice now? How nerve-wracking is it to live day by day, not knowing whether you're going to wrestle a match until the match actually starts?
Yeah, it's there's a lot that goes into it. It's certainly a whole heck of a lot more than just coaching wrestling nowadays. So there's parents involved that actually can travel. We were given a certain amount of tickets, which is exciting for our guys, but do they book a plane ticket? Do they drive out? Because we won't know until Sunday morning if their kids are cleared to wrestle. So, yeah, that's part of it. It's gotten to the point where I feel pretty good, knock on wood, because we've had so much success with the antigen testing. Our guys have done an incredible job of sticking in our bubble, but at the same time, you just never know. And as you go through this season and you wrestle more and more of different schools and there's contact with other universities, there's always a chance. So yeah, it's part of my everyday life, thinking about that and trying to navigate those waters.
Next question goes to Lex Knapp. Go ahead, Lex.
Coach, a few toss-ups this week that are going to be really crucial in the duel. Is there any particular match that you're really honing in on that is a must-win?
Oh man, there's a bunch. Like you said, there's a bunch. 25 is really, really important. It's a match we've won in the past, but that kid has seemingly got better and is off to a pretty good start. So that becomes a huge match. 157 is a huge match. And then, of course, 184. But, even the matches maybe we're slight favorite, we have to really come out and get after it right away and make sure we're winning those matches and looking to score bonus points and things like that. But this is a matchup where there's 7 or 8 matches that could go either way if you're wrestling really, really well. We feel momentum's a part of it, so we want to get on the right side of that momentum, not like Michigan, of course. But there are some key matchups. I think they're all important. And then, you got some of their higher class guys, their world class guys, the Sassos and 74 and 65, Smith and Romero have been around a long time and have won at a high level. We gotta be in the matches with those guys, and that's what we've talked about all week, giving ourselves a chance to beat those high-end guys.
We'll go Bobby Darren. Go ahead, Bobby.
Scott, in other sports, Pike and Greg Schiano talked about, talking to their guys every day about taking precautions and protocol. What's kind of your approach to the team, and what's the daily routine like in relaying that message?
Same thing. It's every day, and they're tired of hearing about it and sick of it, but it's every day, and it's really, really important to us. It's there's been times, like I said earlier in our press conferences, I've sat guys out just for precautionary reason. Hey, Goody, not sure I'm feeling great, sit this one out. And, that kind of messes with your training a little bit, but in this day and age, we have to be smart. So it is an everyday thing, and it doesn't stop when we leave the facility. It's something that's going on all night long. So those are the precautions. It's probably the first and most important thing the staff talks about in the morning, and then certainly our announcements right before practice.
Next up is Nick Costco. Go ahead, Nick.
Coach, for the lineup for this weekend, do you plan on probably the same group of guys in that starting varsity lineup? And again, you're going to be using the backups and other guys along the same weights like you did against Michigan the other week. I mean, do you plan on virtually the same lineup, or do you plan on maybe mixing in some of the freshmen into the lineup this week with a couple probables, or obviously with guys with different weight issues?
Yeah, I think right now, based on the score where we start the duel, you'll probably see our frontline guys as long as they're healthy, like I said, which they are at this point. So I can't imagine going away from our frontline guys, but maybe in an area where maybe we need a pin or whatever the case might be, you throw somebody else in there who's dangerous, right? Because you're down by 5 and you need a 6-pointer. Maybe that happens in a couple spots for us. a couple guys where we think they're pinners and have an opportunity to pin you at any point. But other than that, I mean, and it's a dual meet, right? It's an important dual meet. I got to believe you'll see our frontline guys as long as they test negative and are ready to go Sunday morning. But there could be a situation where somebody else, and I won't get into who, but, you know, you need a fall, you throw somebody else in there.
Next question goes to James Cratch. James, go ahead.
Scott, obviously having the Penn State match postponed, who knows if it's going to get rescheduled. Do you have to get more aggressive with the extra ballots about making sure everyone gets their 4 in as soon as you can?
Well, that was a really an eye-opening experience, like a reminder, like this could be taken, a match could be taken off your schedule like that. And, you know, I said earlier, the big 4, you got to get 4, right? You got to, so now you start, I mean, we're not in the move, we're not in the spot right now where we're pressing, we have to get these guys matches. But if an opportunity comes up, even this week, you know, if an opportunity comes up, we can get our guy an extra match. One of our frontline guys, we will. But we still have a try. We still have a quad with extra matches. So there's still opportunities for us. So we're not totally hitting that panic button. But at the same time, we realize this could be, who knows, we feel good about, because I talked to Tom Ryan this morning, I feel good about having Ohio State. They're healthy, we're healthy. But who knows what happens with Purdue and Minnesota. And if we lose a weekend, now you're really starting to scramble. So it's on our mind. It's on our radar for sure. But right now we're not in that panic mode. But any chance we could to get our guys an extra match, we'll probably do it. So I guess to answer your question, you may see that this week. You may see that.
Next question, Steve Falk. Go ahead, Steve. Steve, you're muted. You're muted.
Okay. Can you hear me now, Scott?
Yep, I got you.
Talk about how big a test this is for Pods as far as his development goes.
Yeah, this is a big one for him. This is a good one. He's a kid ranked in the top 10. I think he's ranked 9th in the country. Obviously, an incredible wrestling family. We've put a lot of time into it, looked at it, studied it. It's got to be about John Paz, though. He's excited for this opportunity. This is someone who really loves this sport and studies this sport and knows who's who, but also relishes this opportunity, really mature for a young guy. Relishes this opportunity, knows how important. These are those matches we talk about could set you up for a bid to the national tournament, right? So this is something he knows that. So it's important to him, and we put some time into it. I'm anxious to see how we'll wrestle him. We know Jordan's going to be really tough on top. He's going to try to score from the top position. We got to be able to get off the bottom, which, right, with every true freshman is always kind of something you look at but he's worked there, and we feel he's pretty good there. I don't think we won't go down. I think it's depending on the match situation. But, you know, this is a good test for Paz, see where he's at, and I'm sure Rutgers fans and, you know, all of our alum and boosters are looking forward to this one, and they're knowledgeable fans and know that this is it's a big one for him.
Lex Knapp, you're next up. Go ahead.
Coach, primarily Ohio State's been a powerhouse within college wrestling. They're definitely good this year, but not quite probably what they've been in years past. How do you focus the team in getting that confidence to not be starstruck by the Ohio State name and rather focus in on the fact that this is a winnable duel?
We're focused on winning the duel. We've talked about it. You know, we talked about it at the beginning of the week for years, and the last couple of years it's been about the process and wrestling hard and being tough. And, you know, for the first time in a long time, because we've had an extra week, right, with the postponement of Penn State, we had an extra week of really watching film and watching tape and talking to our guys about areas we want to be in and areas we don't want to be in. We feel this is a winnable duel, but at the end of the day, they're Ohio State. We have to go out and take this match. We got to take it to them and wrestle smart. We'll always wrestle hard. We got to wrestle smart, and we got to wrestle with energy and enthusiasm and passion, and give ourselves an opportunity to win a big duel. This is I'm not calling this a program changer by any stretch of the imagination, because we've had some big wins in the past, but it's an opportunity to knock off one of what I call the big four in our conference. And I think it'll be great for our guys. And it's something with this only Big Ten season, you know, you gotta take advantage of every opportunity and give yourself a chance. And we feel like we're in that in that spot to do it. So let's go do it. Let's get on the road and maybe do something people don't think we're supposed to do. And that could turn the tide for our season. And that's kind of, we're looking to do that. We've talked about winning. We've talked about getting our hand raised. So a little bit different look this week, but it's important to us.
Mike Abramitis, you're up next. Go ahead.
How you doing, Coach?
Good, Mike.
Coach, when you look at the extra matches after your first team guys go and you evaluate them, do you still consider having indicator matches, in late January or February to determine where you want to be for the Big Ten tournament?
I mean, anything can happen, right? If something like that, or I don't really like to do that in the middle of the season, because when do you do it? Do you make weight? And then you have to make weight at the weekend. So I'm not a huge fan of that during the season, but these are all indicator matches. Everything's an evaluation period. And if that's the greatest thing about the extra matches. Those guys are being evaluated, and they're wrestling some good guys as well, Gerard Angelo is going to have a huge test as an extra bout this week. So if he continues to show up on match day and win matches, maybe he gets an opportunity based on some things. So, and I use that as an example, right? But yeah, we're always
all the weight classes, all your first line guys solid at those spots, or there are still some spots up in the air going forward?
I think there's always an opportunity, right? There's always an opportunity. It's not, our lineup is never set in stone. A lot can happen. Everybody's got to be ready. That's what we're focused on right now. I wouldn't call it an indicator at all. We won't do wrestle-offs right now, like I said, during the season. But if you get an opportunity to wrestle, you put your foot on the line, you better perform, and that's the way we'll go about to see who wrestles in dual meets.
Thanks. Good luck on Sunday.
Thank you.
We have time for a few more questions. We'll go to Nick Costco. Go ahead, Nick.
Coach, I don't know if you have an official date yet in terms of the Penn State match. If you guys do end up rescheduling that, is it going to remain at Rutgers, or would you actually go out to Penn State in order to reschedule, or could they even join in on another date where you can make it a try meet or anything like that? Have you been given any indication about that reschedule for that match?
We've actually had a meeting with the admin and Big Ten yesterday. It's our home match, so I'm assuming they would come to us, finding a date that works for everybody. Now they had their Michigan State match canceled for this weekend, so I'm sure they're trying to make that up as well. So there's a lot. I think first and foremost they're trying to get healthy. So really nothing's been set in stone. We do have a bye week coming up, but the rack is being used. So there's a lot that could happen. Nothing's off the table. Again, uncharted territories, not only for Penn State and Rutgers, but for the Big Ten in having to reschedule so many matches at this point. So I'm not sure what's going to be made of it. If it's even going to be rescheduled, does it need to be rescheduled? Can you show up at make it part of a try? Who knows right now? Right now our focus is just going to be on Ohio State, and we'll go from there.
Lex, you'll be our final question for the afternoon. Go ahead.
You kind of answered it there, Coach, but with the COVID breakouts and matches getting canceled, is there a possibility of adding more matches to the end of the season, even outside of the Big Ten?
Outside of the Big, not to cut you off, sorry, Lex, but I'll let you finish. But outside of the Big Ten, absolutely not, because when Penn State got canceled, a couple schools locally reached out to us, which would be great, but the Big Ten is not allowing us to go outside the conference, unfortunately.
All right, thanks, Coach. Thanks for joining, guys.
All right, guys, thanks.
Thanks, Scott.